Okay, guys, I'm here for my review of the 2018 Royal Rumble. I generally do my reviews of pay per views about a week afterward. All big four pay per views will be reviewed. The lesser pay per views, that's if I want to review them. Uh, so, I may review Elimination Chamber, I may not. After the Royal Rumble review, you probably won't get a review from me till at least WrestleMania for sure. Because everything else when it comes to that to WWE, the lesser pay reviews are my prerogative. But this is the Royal Rumble. Uh, I decided not to review Raw 25 because, well, I did watch it. It in the brief, it was a horrible show. So, what happened at the Royal Rumble and what did I think of the show? Well, the Royal Rumble 2018 took place January 28th, 2018 from the Wells Fargo Arena in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. We had 3 matches on the 2-hour kickoff. You had a 6-man cruiserweight match. Kalisto, Lince Dorado, and Grand Metalik against Jack Gallagher, Drew Gulak, and TJP. Kalisto won to Selena Del Sol by pinned TJP. You had Gallows and Anderson against the Revival. Revival won. You had Bobby Roode's U.S. Open Challenge answered by Mojo Rawley. And Bobby Roode won. Matches weren't anything special on the kickoff show. So the Royal Rumble itself opened with the 2-on-1 handicap match for the WWE Championship. AJ Styles versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. This was a solid match. Probably would have been better if Kevin Owens was not working injured, but since Kevin Owens was working injured, it was what it was. It was, it was an okay match. It was better than most TV SmackDown main events. Finish is AJ's got Sami Zayn up. Sami Zayn's trying to tag, and he doesn't. Kevin Owens comes in. AJ pins Kevin Owens and retains the title. So there you go. AJ won, but he pinned the wrong guy, which isn't going to come to anything, apparently, from SmackDown, since now Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn are either having a match, and the winner of that's going to go to Fastlane to face AJ Styles, and of course the winner of that will be facing Shinsuke Nakamura at WrestleMania, but more on that a little bit later. You have 3.5 stars. Good match. Could have been better, but was what it is. So then we get the 2 out of 3 falls match for the SmackDown Tag Team Championship. The Usos versus Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin. Very good match here. Solely though on the first fall. The first fall is the entire rating of this match because the second fall was a kind of a blink you miss it kind of thing. But the first fall was back and forth. One of the Usos hits. One of the Usos hit a super kick barrage, and then one of them pinned Shelton Benjamin to actually win for the team, the fall. And then with Chad Gable on the top rope, and I don't really know if this was a botch or not, Shelton Benjamin got rolled up, and that was the second fall. So 3.5 stars, and I'm guessing the Usos are now going to face the Bludgeon Brothers. I don't really know. There's no real other team for them to face over there on SmackDown. So then we got the 2018 Men's Royal Rumble match. This was arguably, This was the single best Men's Royal Rumble we've had in about 5 years. Since about 2012-ish, and that was due to the ending sequence, and that was a lot due to the thing with Sheamus and Jericho. But this was a really good match that goes back to what made everyone like the Royal Rumble so much. It started with... Now, the entry order will be in the description, like I do with Royal Rumbles, and it'll be the same for the Women's Rumble, and I will denote the Royal Rumble rookies that made their first appearance in the Royal Rumble. I may not do that for the Women's Rumble, because other than one person, everyone was a Royal Rumble rookie for the Women's Rumble, but I'll see check the description for about that. But it started with Rusev and Finn Balor. That was interesting enough. And it's a traditional Royal Rumble. we had a few surprise entrants. We had the NXT champion, Andrade Cian Almas, who, after going nearly, over half an hour Johnny Gargano the night before, goes about a half hour here. So really solid performance by the NXT champion. Doesn't make him look weak at all. And of course you had Adam Cole, baby, show up in the Royal Rumble. And personally, I really wasn't expecting Adam Cole or Aleister Black in the Royal Rumble because of because of what they did to each other in the Extreme Rules match the night before. But Cole may not have lasted as long as Andrade Almas, but in the storyline he had a reason given that he was injured. But it was still, interesting to them. And of course we had two actual surprise entrants. Now, you could count Andrade Almas and Adam Cole if you want. I would count them as surprise entrants generally since they're from NXT. But in terms of nostalgia surprise entrants, we had two, the Hurricane and Rey Mysterio. And the Hurricane, it was really fun seeing the Hurricane again, and he got a pop. And Rey Mysterio looks like he did in 1996. So, yeah. Very interesting Final Six here, because you had the Final Six was the New Guard of Cena, Orton, and Mysterio versus the New Guard, Reigns, Nakamura, and Balor. That was a kind of interesting thing. And for a while they paired off like that until Roman Reigns eliminated Randy Orton. And then Finn Balor eliminated Rey Mysterio. We got our Final Four. Shinsuke Nakamura, Finn Balor, John Cena, Roman Reigns. And, that was a good Final Four because for the first time in a while, we actually had a Final Four in which at least we had a 50% chance of getting a first-time Royal Rumble winner. Since up until this Rumble, 4 of the last 5 Rumble winners were all repeat winners. Balor gets eliminated first. He was in the longest at 57 minutes. That's quite impressive for Finn Balor. And then he's eliminated by Cena, and Nakamura eliminates both Cena, and then him and Reigns. Nakamura and Reigns, to their credit, have a very good ending sequence. A very solid ending sequence. Nakamura eventually knees Roman in the face at going for the Spirit and eliminates Roman and wins the 2018 Men's Royal Rumble on his debut year, becoming only the 10th person to do that. And becoming only the 10th person to win the Royal Rumble in the year of the Royal Rumble debut. He's also the first actual Asian to win the Royal Rumble. Now, okay, granted there is Yokozuna, but Yokozuna was Samoan, not Japanese. So, technically, Nakamura is the first true Japanese wrestler to win the Royal Rumble. And he picked AJ Styles to go after the WWE title. Now, on its surface, that could be a very interesting match, because it's a rematch from Wrestle Kingdom 10. But does the WWE, will they actually go through with it? Meaning, will they have AJ get past Fastlane with the WWE title? Because we still have that to deal with. Other than that, though, 4.5 stars. Great Men's Royal Rumble. I don't understand why the Raw Tag title match was after it, especially since Sheamus, Cesaro, and Seth Rollins were all in the Royal Rumble. Now, okay, at least with Sheamus, he was eliminated in 2 seconds by Heath Slater, and Heath Slater, ironically, was part of what I feel is one of the greatest comedy spots in the Royal Rumble. They made a running gag out of this where Baron Corbin gets eliminated, and then Heath Slater's making his way in, Corbin decks Heath Slater, and then everybody from Elias onward until Sheamus just kept beating up Heath Slater's reception and Big E. Big E gave him pancakes. So that was a really funny gag. I actually felt that was really, really funny. But anyway, the Raw Tag Team title match. Seth Rollins and Jason Jordan versus Sheamus and Cesaro. In what is essentially a handicap match for the entire match. Now, don't get me wrong, Seth did a lot of work. Him, Cesaro, and Sheamus did a very good match. They take Jason Jordan out by slamming him into the ring post, and the medical staff comes out to work on him, but they leave, so I guess even they don't care about Jason Jordan. Jordan eventually tags himself in and tags himself right back out, and then the bar hit this tandem white noise thing, and win back the Raw Tag titles for the 4th time. Really good match. It was a 3.5 star match, but because it came after the Men's Rumble, the crowd was dead for it, as they would be being after a Royal Rumble. So, you know, but, you know, it was what it was. It was a 3.5-star match. Probably would have been better if this match was earlier on the show and you didn't have the whole Seth Rollins spending nearly 20 minutes in the Royal Rumble and then immediately coming right back to be in a tag title match. So then you had the Universal Championship Triple Threat match. The Beast, the Monster, and the Machine. Brock Lesnar versus Kane versus Braun Strowman. This match was what it was. Its rating is predominantly Braun Strowman because he was the best performer in this match, doing a double drop kick to Brock and Kane, and just his overall stuff. But eventually, you know, he gets put through a table, Lesnar puts Kane through a table, and all that. They get chair, you know, there's a chair, and eventually Brock pins Kane up an F5 on a chair, just like everyone thought was going to happen. And that was the match. For what it was a 2-star match. You know, you couldn't be expecting too much from this match. Brock is on his way to WrestleMania to most likely lose the title to Roman Reigns. Kane's running for mayor, so he wasn't going to win the Universal title. And Braun Strowman, the guy who deserved this in the match, Strowman, the one guy who actually deserved the Universal Championship, didn't get it. So, yeah. And he's, you know, and I don't see him winning the Elimination Chamber either, so I'll get into that when I give Elimination Chamber predictions, but I don't see him winning that Elimination Chamber. But yeah, 2 stars, good match. It was okay, but again, not something that was a blowover thing. So then we get the Women's Royal Rumble. The first ever Women's Royal Rumble match. Now, should this have closed the show? No, it should not have closed the show. I am of that agreement that this should not have closed the show. I think it really should have opened the show, but I do understand why they closed it. I understand why the Women's Royal Rumble was on last, predominantly because of the Ronda Rousey thing. I do get why it was on last. It just shouldn't have been on last. But I also think it's a really huge deal for the women to say that they main evented a Big 4 pay-per-view. That's a big deal. Yeah, okay, they main evented a pay-per-view, but this is a Big 4 pay-per-view, arguably the second biggest on the WWE calendar. And the women were in the main event. So it was I understood why they closed with it. And I do think they picked the 2 best people to open this Royal Rumble, Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch. Just like the Men's Rumble, Women's Rumble, entry order, longest lasting, most elimination, all that will be in the description. And given that this match had 13 spots open, you knew there were going to be a lot of surprises, and there were. You had people like Michelle McCool, Molly Holly, Tori Wilson, Kelly Kelly, and no, Tori Wilson and Kelly Kelly have not improved since they were gone. But then again, they were never good when they were there the first time. You had the Bellas, who technically are not nostalgia because Nikki technically is not retired. I'll get into that with the Final 4, but Nikki technically is not retired. She just hasn't wrestled since WrestleMania, but as far as I know, she's not retired. Yes, Bree's retired, but the rumor was she was thinking about coming out of retirement anyway. But the Final 4 in this Rumble were interesting, as you had the Bellas, Asuka, and Sasha Banks. Yeah, Sasha Banks eliminate Bayley, which hopefully goes somewhere. Which hopefully goes to heel Sasha Banks versus Bayley at WrestleMania. Because other than that, there's no reason for, I don't, that match just seems logical. But sometimes what seems logical to us, the WWE decides not to do. And, the most eliminations went to Michelle McCool for some reason. At 5. I don't understand that. You had Ruby Riott eliminate Becky Lynch, which didn't go anywhere. But it does look like Ruby Riott might be facing Charlotte at Fastlane for the SmackDown Women's title. I'm not quite sure on that yet. But if it is Ruby Riott and Charlotte, that should be that should actually be a very interesting match. But Asuka, of course, wins the Women's Royal Rumble, eliminating both the Bellas. Well, okay, she eliminated Nikki. Nikki eliminated Brie, which is probably going to be turned into some Total Divas angle, or Total Bellas angle, or whatever. And then, of course, you had Asuka between Alexa Bliss and Charlotte. And then Ronda Rousey comes out. And she does know how to point at a sign, I'll say that much. She can point at a sign. That's the only thing we've seen her do yet, is point at a sign. So, it's going to be very interesting when she makes her in-ring debut at WrestleMania, because I'm assuming that's when she's going to make it. I don't think you waste Ronda Rousey's in-ring debut at Elimination Chamber or Fastlane. That just seems like something that you would save for WrestleMania. So we'll find out there. But the Women's Rumble, 4.5 stars. Just like the Men's Rumble. I do think it was a good Rumble. It was a really good Rumble. It was really enjoyable. It just should not have opened the show. It just should not have closed the show, excuse me. It should have opened. And yes, there are some bugs that women have to work out. But, if the WWE keeps at this, I'm sure that the women will get better and the Royal Rumble will become more polished. The first few Men's Royal Rumbles weren't exactly the most polished thing in the world either. But I'm sure as the women have more Royal Rumble opportunities under their belt, the match will get better. Beth Phoenix is the only woman now to be in both a women's and a men's Royal Rumble, which is probably going to be the only one, unless Karma shows up in one of them, like next year or whatnot. But, yeah, that is what it is. The star rating will be in the description, but it's a fairly high star rating because 3.5, 2 stars is the lowest rated show on here. So this is most likely in the B range, and I will figure it up and it'll be in the description. Tomorrow or Wednesday, I will have uploaded my review of the first 2 episodes of Power Rangers Super Ninja Steel. And sometime later this month, I will have another retro review. It'll be a WWE pay-per-view. I will eventually get to reviewing Backlash 2006 because I was at that event, but I don't know if that'll be what it is. But it is going to be a WWE pay-per-view for my retro review. So if you like this video, like button is down there, subscribe button down there, and thanks for watching. Bye.